there is it doesn't feel like there's the, excuse me, the normal, and maybe there is, and I'm just not tapped into social media and King's Twitter like I used to be, but it doesn't feel like there's a level of excitement around this team. And normally this is where, like the slate is clean. Everyone's talking. Everyone's saying the right things. I thought DeMar was on point. I thought Doug was on point. Those are the only two I really care about. I like Malik, obviously, because of the circumstances of Malik's offseason. Other than that, shout out Zach LaVine, Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, all those guys. It didn't really – I'm not moved one way or another by what they say. I was curious Malik's response to the offseason, and he responded probably the way most of us thought he would. I wanted to hear what Doug would say entering his first season as the Sacramento Kings coach, first official season as the Sacramento Kings coach, first training camp of his coaching career. And I didn't go into it dying to hear what DeMar DeRozan said. I just came out of it really, really happy with what he said. I was happy with his demeanor. I was happy with the way he addressed last season and his approach to this upcoming season. I might have been alone, or we might have been alone, because I think you feel the same way I do, particularly regarding DeMar DeRozan. But it just doesn't feel like there's that normal, nothing has gone wrong yet level of excitement around this team.
Yeah, I just go back to what we talked about a number of different times. It just feels like there's a consensus that this team isn't going to be any good. And to a certain degree, I think a lot of the fan base and the people that follow the team are just waiting for this to fail so they can blow it up and then they can have hope for the future. Which,
yeah, weird, but yeah.
That's yeah. And I get it. I understand how that could be hopeful if you're able to be bad and get a top 5 pick, maybe, hopefully. I get that. I get how that could be hopeful, but that's just how people want to look at it, and that's how they want to go about it. They'd rather be bad and have a top 5 pick than, be a 7 or 8 seed,
maybe
winning the get into the playoffs.
Maybe it's because people feel like there's a clear cap ceiling that this team can go, and whether it's play in or first round of the playoffs, this team, I don't think this fan base buys them going any higher. And maybe the feeling is, well, it would be better just to be bad so we can start building moving forward. I would like to point out, though, for those that think like that, and I do believe there's a lot of you, and it's perfectly fine. Like, don't tell nobody how to fan. Like live your life. Like, I do not want to. We're 3 weeks away from the first game, 4 weeks maybe. I'm not gonna be preemptively miserable. Like, I just refuse to do that.
Right.
Now they can make us miserable as the season goes along, but I refuse to be miserable about this basketball team on October 1st. But I would point out, you want a top 5 pick, or you want them to be bad, you want them to approach this a certain way. Yeah, like Keon's young. Like, if you want that, you have to acknowledge that nothing, even your favorites on this team, work. Because in order for them to get where you want them to go without winning the lottery the way that the Dallas Mavericks did, and when I say win the lottery, I'm talking about moving up into the top 4. Unless you do it that way, that was a 39-win team. I can't remember how Dallas won. It was 38, 39 wins, something like that. Unless you're going to win the lottery, you're going to have to be a bad basketball. And again, I want to remind you, Keon is all of your favorites. Keegan, Malik, all of the guys that you're championing, they're on this team now. So if this team was bad enough to be in like real competition for a top 4, top 5 pick, hey, your guys suck too. It's not just DeMar. It's not just Zach. Like, Domar stinks. They all have to go. Every single one of them, even the ones you like. So being bad has tremendous consequences. Right. And one, I don't believe anything about those scenarios are realistic. I just don't. I don't believe this team is anywhere near a top 5 selection bad. I don't think they're anywhere near a 35-win team. So I just can't bring myself. I wish people were more amped up for this. I wish people bought in a little bit more. But at the same time, I understand why you're not. Yeah. And you're going to need this team to come out and win some games quickly. Absolutely. And I'm perfectly I'm okay with that line of thinking. If they can sway you by winning a couple games, I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. I'm perfectly okay with that.
And like you said, I'm not here to tell you anybody's right or wrong for how they view the team or how they want to go about it. If you think tanking or being bad is the best way to go about things, maybe so. I don't know what the right or wrong answer is. One thing I do believe that is, if you like say, hey, we're just going to be bad and we want to be a top 5 pick, it may not matter to some, and that's cool. But you know how far away you are from the playoffs? And I'm talking about years away from the playoffs. Like where is Portland hasn't made the playoffs for what, about 3 seasons?
3 or 4.
And they're just now like, hey, they might get in the play-in. And they did, you can make the argument they hit on everything that they did draft-wise. Scoot looks really good. Shaden looks really good. They found Kamara. Klingon looks good. Then the guy from China that they got this year, like they didn't have any misses. And they're probably like 2 or 3 years away. Like
looks like Portland made the playoffs in 2020, 2021.
Okay. So that's 4 seasons, maybe.
Yeah, you're right. 4 seasons.
4 seasons,
entering their 5th,
and they hit on everything.
And they traded Dame.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I say about that is just, just try to be realistic and have realistic expectations about what that really looks like. My first thought, because you want to move past where you think this team could go, right? So if you think that this team can be best case scenario, get into the playoffs, lose in the first round, that's their ceiling. Mm-hmm. You want to get in a situation where you're more than that. So get into the playoffs, win a round, be in the second round, maybe the conference finals. You're so far away from that. You are so far away from that with a tank. You are like a decade away from that. And cool. Like if you're like, I got time. I've seen it the other way. I'm not interested in that. I'm like, cool. That's just what
I got time. That's fine.
Yeah. So that's all. That's all I ever say about that is just be realistic with what that looks like. Non-playoff basketball for 5 years. Hey, you might have non-playoff basketball with the way it is. Sure. You know what I mean? Like this team, this group, Sabonis, Keegan, these guys that are here right now, they might not make the playoffs by themselves for 2 or 3 years.
And the good news for you, the people who feel that way, is if this season goes as badly as you hope, you're going to get what you want. The little caveat to that is, for those who enjoy going to games, price ain't going down. It's not like Vivek is going to go, or whoever is in charge of that. I don't know if it's Vivek, but it's not like the Kings are going to go, man, we're not winning games right now. We're not selling tickets. Yeah, no, it's fine. We're still going to charge $300 to sit in the lower bowl. And the food will still be expensive. So will parking. But the good news is you won't have trouble finding a parking spot. You won't have to park in Kenny's secret spot anymore. You can just park in the garage.
Yeah, well,
you can just park on the street.
I don't have any special. Who parks closer to the arena? You or me?
I think
traditionally.
I think I do.
Yeah, because you got it like that. I don't. I'm way far away.
That's by choice.
No, that's out of just where I am. I can't get as close to the guy knows you at the parking garage. You don't know me.
You know, every year the Sacramento Kings hand you a badge that all you have to do is show the parking attendant. They'll be like, "Hey, come on in, pal." That's it.
It's not true.
You just, it very much is true. Been doing that for like 10 years.
Where you park?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Oh my God.
But they just gonna let me park there?
Yes, you can park there. You're allowed to park there.
Well, the other thing about it is you leave earlier than I do.
That's correct.
So the validation still kind of works.
That is absolutely correct. I can't really argue with that point. That is correct. I think the biggest thing for me heading into this season, the biggest question I have, because they're talking 94 feet, Doug Christie's talking defense. They're talking about scoring and running and playing off the defensive end. You know, their defense generating their offense is and that, to me, that sounds like a high level approach to defense. Mm-hmm. It's great talk. Can Doug get them to execute at that high level?
Right.
Can he get them to execute at that high level regularly in practice? Can he get them to execute at that high level when the season gets underway here in Phoenix? And can he get them to execute at that high level when the newness wears off and it's December and you got, 4 and 6 nights, 5 or whatever, and those practice sessions that you're having right now, they're gone. Now you're doing like maintenance sessions. Now you're doing film sessions. Can they execute at that high level then? Can it be something you enter the season with and carry with you as far into game 82 as you could possibly get? Because if they can, I feel really, really good about this team. I'm not going to tell you that I think that they can, but I see the vision. I do think they have stronger personnel than most people think that they do. I think Dennis I think they're all good except for Keon. I think Keon is very, very good. Keegan, Keegan is a hell of a defender. He is. And I always try to be careful when it comes to, looking at tape, looking at film, looking at games and determining they missed this assignment. They missed this. I don't know what the assignment was. And you talked yesterday about the differences between the way Mike Brown taught defense, coached defense, and what he expected of his team defensively versus what Doug Christie has told us his approach is going to be to the defensive end, and how very, very, very different those two are.
Yeah. And once again, I don't necessarily know what the scheme was, but it's just from like kind of watching how they played, hearing different things that, were said the last couple of years and listening to what Doug talked about. Maybe it was something where they tried to funnel the defense to the baseline or tried to funnel. So when you close out somebody, you close out on the high side and you end up kind of leaving a lane for them to attack, but that's where the help is supposed to be that. And it's more towards the sidelines and towards the baseline. And what Doug talked about yesterday was the number one priority is going to be when you close out, you square up, you keep the guy in front of you. Mm-hmm. We're not funneling anybody somewhere necessarily as the base of what we're trying to do defensively. We may have times throughout a game where we say, hey, this is how we're going to play it and scheme up some stuff. But the foundation, the fundamental base of how we go about things is you got somebody in front of you, you keep them in front of you. It's one-on-one, it's mano-a-mano, and you figure this out. And that might have been something that was a little different than what Mike Brown taught those guys and wanted them to do. And maybe it focused a little bit more immediately on the team defense aspect of it all. So that could be a difference. That could be something that's more conducive to guys like Keegan, like Dennis Schroeder, like Zach Levine. You know, they might be built a little bit more for that as opposed to um, wandering a little bit mentally by saying, "Oh, it's okay if I just guide them to this is where the help should be." No, keep them in front of you. So it's not to say one is better or different. Mike Brown has been a unbelievable defensive strategist in this league. He knows defense. He teaches defense. Traditionally, his teams are good at defense. So it's not like he was wrong or anything like that. But maybe what Doug has in store fits this group a little bit better.
Give me something that you're watching for entering the season, like something you're watching for right now.
The group of guys that they have, the roster, the team they have, is everybody locked into winning basketball? We got a little taste of maybe what the mindset was when Zach Levine had mentioned it a little bit when he was talking on media day, or maybe it was the first day of practice. But he just talked about how, like, yeah, we got vets, we got rookies, like everybody's got one common goal. I thought Beam Team 1 year, that was a major underrated factor to their success. They had veterans who had established themselves as good NBA players with the numbers they put up, maybe the money they had made, and they were established that way. The only thing that was left was, is this guy a winning player? They had rookies and young guys who really were trying to establish themselves in the league. And to do that, you had to be on a winning team. And it all came together. It all came together for that group. They all were like, hey, the only thing that's going to get us out of the predicament that we're in is if we win win basketball games. And that was the focus. I wonder if this team is at that spot as well this year, where everything that everybody's saying about us, DeMar's put up numbers, Zach Levine's put up numbers, Sabonis has put up numbers, all this other stuff. Only thing that matters is whether or not we can win games. Those people still going to talk about us crazy. So I wonder if that's the primary focus of this group.
I feel like we've asked specifically, I feel like you've asked a similar question before as it pertains to the San Francisco 49ers. A little bit different in the sense that you weren't necessarily talking about winning football. You were talking about the focus being on winning and not on my contract extension.
Right.
Or, and again, it's professional sports. It's business. There has to be room for both. But when both are present, like one suffers. It's like when you're paying attention to two things, you're not really paying attention to neither. Another reason I hate Monday night football game doubleheaders. Another thing that's a good one too. Another thing that I'm kind of locked into, and I think people who would take what you just said would also look at, like, there's a lot of short-term contracts on here. You know, Keegan's not under contract yet. Keon's not under contract yet. You think about those two guys as pillars. Malik is under contract, but by all accounts, you tried to trade him this offseason. DeMar is short-term. Zach Levine is short-term. And you have Domas here. But if you don't have the rest of them, it doesn't really matter. Right. I think the biggest question I have, and to me, like defense, dedicated to winning, all of those things, I think they'll all find themselves at some point. The biggest thing I'm curious about for the Sacramento Kings is, will the absence of turmoil be enough to set this team in the right direction? No one's getting fired. Probably. No one's getting fired. No one's getting traded. Like, your general manager is here. Maybe there will be trades, but there won't be one as seismic as the one that happened last February, right? Which was related to the coaching firing. That's not happening. Doug is here. Bobby's here. Their staff is here. Scott Perry is here. Scott Perry's staff is here. They're locked in. They're dedicated. They're trying to build a winner. Will the absence of all of that stuff that DeMar talked about on Monday, what will that do to improve this basketball team?
Right.
I believe it will improve them. How much is a question.
And that's just it's going to be the $1 million question, really, with this group. I think those
sorry,
things,
man.